Hi, my name is Jamie Roth and welcome to the Intuitive Encounters Conversations channel. I've been thinking a lot about the current desire of instant gratification that we as the human collective live by, where it's just everything quickly, instantly, in sound bites, and how this affects us as human beings compared to how we used to experience things in many generations past, like how our ancestors did things. And I'm talking about 2000 plus years back. So the current example is holiday dates such as Halloween. So Halloween is actually a holiday that has its roots in the pagan holiday Samhain, or really Celtic and Irish traditions that do date back 2000 years plus. And I'm not going to get into all of the history of that for this video, but what I want to say is Halloween, our current present day Halloween, is considered one day. It's a day where we get dressed up, have the spookies out, and get candy. And I love it, don't get me wrong. One of my favorite, present day holidays. But the roots of it, the ancestral roots of it, can be up to weeks long and go well into November. There's actually varying dates that you can find online that people believe are the true dates of this ancestral holiday celebration. I don't even know if it was a holiday, it was more of a celebration. It was more of an honoring. And again, another just thing about where we as humans in collective present day, we don't honor things anymore. We just go, oh, here's a holiday on this specific date every single year, and then we're done with it and we move on. Especially at this time of year, we just move on to the next holiday that's one specific date, and then the next holiday that's 1-2 day specific date, then the very next one to New Year's, right? So, and this is all based on the Gregorian calendar, which is a modern day calendar. It's more based on Christian ideology and dates versus the moon calendar, which used to be 13 months. Okay, so let me backtrack again. So the celebration or ritual or ceremony of Samhain is about the pagan calendar or wheel of the year and turning of the wheel. And this turning of the wheel turns us into darkness. It turns us into the dark months, both physically where daylight hours are less in the northern hemisphere, but also it's that time of going inward into our darkness. So it's very symbolic. It's about the idea that winter time is a time, and fall is a time of resting and respite. It's a time to go into home. It's not a time to be super social, super active, super out there. Although, again, the Gregorian calendar would have you believe that, right? Because every holiday is festive and bright and go out and socialize and be. But true ancestral roots to all of us, quite frankly, are to actually go within in the winter months. It's about home, it's about hearth, it's about family, it's about restoration of your spirit, it's about rest. And it is about going into your own depths in the darkness, because that is where seeds germinate. Most often seeds don't germinate above soil, right? In direct sunlight, indirect where animals and insects and things can scavenge them. Most seeds, if they get planted deeply enough or they get covered up, are in the darkness. And that's where they get nourished. That's where roots get nourished, is in the darkness. And so when we think of Halloween, we think it's just this one day every year, but really Samhain is a celebration that has floating days, calendar days anyways, and spans several weeks, if not a month, and actually goes deep and into November. But the reason, again, that I'm bringing this up is I just am really noticing how far we've come from allowing ourselves to embody things for an extended period. Ritual, ceremony, change in our own lives. Inspiration, when it comes, we want it to hit, we want to do something with it, and then move on to the next thing. As a business owner, I experience this a lot. It's like as soon as I've done some huge thing, whether it's rebranding or I just hosted a really large virtual summit, no matter what it is, as soon as it's done, I admit that my mind goes, okay, on to the next thing. I've got to market the next thing. I've got to get out there for the next thing. And even if you don't own a business, a lot of us fall into that just our productivity is what counts. That's capitalism. So through colonization, through capitalism, And through Christianity, our world has turned into this rush, this instant gratification, and due to social media for sure. And we no longer allow ourselves to get deeply entrenched in experiences and allow true unfolding. And I even see this in like the witchy communities. You know, if you practice any type of craft, whether you call it spell work, ritual, whatever, to expect instant gratification, to expect those things to work right away is not in true alignment with how energy can operate. Yes, energy can be quick. Karma can be right quick. I love it. I love when you see a good karmic moment happen like immediately, right? But most of the time, it can be a slow burn. It takes a while. It takes an internalized change within you. I also see this in the spiritual community when we talk about manifestation or releasing or outdated, like every moon, every full moon, which happens how many times a year? A lot, right? Every full moon is about release. You can just release something. And I really think that people think that you can just go under the moon, do some kind of light a candle, do some kind of ritual you saw online and think, okay, I don't like that thought. I'm not going to be that person anymore. I release it and wake up the next day and it's released. And unfortunately, that's really not how it works. Really, to truly release, you're going to have to stay with that. Maybe for the full month's time until the next full moon cycle, or maybe for many months, maybe a year. When you are deeply entrenched in habits, in philosophy, in ideology, and how you think and believe, it is not an overnight process. It is not a 3-day moon cycle that you suddenly have released this outdated narrative. It takes time and it takes effort. I want to be clear on that. It takes effort. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. So when there's something you want to release, something outdated, like we have a full moon tonight, this beautiful full moon in Taurus, also known as the beaver moon. And man, it went full this morning at like 8:19 a.m. Eastern time zone, USA. And I mean, I walked out at like 5 in the morning. It was bright. I was like, okay, this really is a super moon. This is legit. And I just kind of basked under it. But let's say there's something you're trying to release under a full moon. Okay, this is not I thought about it that night. I took a cleansing shower and it's done. This is then the next day. You still continue to think about it. You allow your nervous system to catch up. You allow your cells to go into a transformative change because you make the changes that you need when you release those outdated thoughts and feelings and narratives. You have to continue to make a conscious choice. You have to create new habits. You have to create new neurological pathways, thought patterns. So it is magic, but it is also science. It is also biology, neurobiology. It is the human experience of mind, body, and spirit. When you're only playing in the spirit realm, it's not enough. It's just simply not. It is about aligning your inner ecology with your outer ecology, with the bigger ecology, and the underneath ecology, the ecology of the earth and everything that's going on in there, beneath that soil, into her layers. So one of the things that I know that's happening as here in the United States specifically, I'll speak to that because that's where I live, even though I know this type of unrest and dictatorship and things like that are happening across the world, I'm going to speak to the United States. And for many, we are in economic crises, without a doubt. SNAP benefits just went away. The benefits that help people who need, help supplementing their food budget and things like that. People are losing jobs at an enormous rate. There's lots of letting go of employees from huge companies, Amazon, and more, so many. So people are without jobs. People are not getting help with their food budgets. People aren't making enough to begin with. And there's all this civil unrest, quite frankly. And there's a lot of questions about, let's ban Christmas, let's ban commercialism and capitalism. And I am all for that, except for small businesses. That's where you should be spending your money. Those mom and pop stores, such as myself. But those people, the money you spend at mom and pop stores, at your local neighborhood store, your local artist store, bakery, healer, intuitive healer place, we are paying our family's bills. It goes directly to our family's bills. and our family. You are helping us feed our family while you're gaining the experience, the product that you need, that you desire, that you like. So please note that it is not the same thing as spending money at like Walmart and Target. So while I am a fan of trying to get rid of capitalization, I mean, let's just face it, that's what holidays have become, right? Most people don't even live by their family, and if they do, they're spending too much money. They're going into debt for things like Christmas. It's ridiculous. But more than that, what I see, what I feel is a real opportunity for us to go back to ancestral ways and live as a ceremony for an extended period, live as an experience. And yes, I know you still have to go to work, and time is busy and time is stressful, but what if instead, not just not buying as much and not spending as much? That's great. Do that for sure. But what about not just doing that, but instead leaning into the philosophies, the ideologies of ancestral ways, whatever they are that you are familiar with or you can learn about, whether it's Celtic traditions, Irish traditions, hoodoo voodoo traditions. You have to do some research on your lineage, or just an awareness of seasonal living. That's my favorite. Even if you know nothing else, I can assure you that the very, very, very original ancestors to everybody honored the seasons, because Mother Earth knows everything. She knows how to die and regenerate. She knows the process of birth, death, and rebirth. So when the leaves fall off and those leaves die, the trees aren't dying. They're digging into the soil even deeper. They're growing their roots for stability. They're getting nourished. But those leaves have become composition for the ground to decompose, where the bugs hide and hibernate, and that whole ecological system is going on. The fungi come and they eat the leaf, as the leaves are decomposing, and they have a whole network underground to help the trees communicate, to help the planet communicate. And I could go on and on and on. This video would take forever. But what I do want you to know about the seasons is they show us how to be. So for those of us that are currently in the Northern Hemisphere, as we are moved, the wheel has turned into the dark months, meaning there is less daylight, sunlight during the day. There is longer darkness. It's not meant to be a time to get depressed. And I know that some people do. I know that lack of sunlight affects a lot of people. And I encourage you to use the things you can if you need a sun lamp and things like that. Or you need to go to a state and you can that has more sun for a while. I encourage that. I can't ever blanket statement one thing, one process, and be like, this works for everybody. But what I can tell you is we are meant to live seasonally. So it's a time to be cozy. It's a time to be warm. I have actually changed a lot of people's lives about seasonal living, teaching seasonal living, particularly in those colder, darker months. The amount of clients I've come to me over the years and be like, I hate it, I get depressed, it's just dark, it's gloomy, it's dead, it's terrible, yep, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, what if we reframe it? What if we reframe it to, you're meant to be eating soups and warm breads, and yes, you are meant to pack on a couple of pounds, because it's meant to insulate you and keep you warm. You're supposed to be in candlelight. What if you make it a time where you spend it in candlelight? Oh, I love candlelight. I love low lighting. I don't do red lighting ever anyways. That drives me nuts. But candlelight, like in the morning when I wake up, that's what I light, is a candle. I don't turn on lights. What if you recognize it as time for fires, in your fireplace or outside? You get warm and cozy and all your puffy coats and everything, but then you light your fire and you sit outside and you get something warm to drink. It's about warm beverages, warm foods, more fattening foods, more filling foods. This is not a time for light and bright salads. This is a time for meats and potatoes and breads and soups, because it is meant to nourish you and warm you and give you lots of protein. It is a time to feel heavier and slower. It is a time to feel tired and rest. So when you reframe it and you choose to live seasonally and say, you know what, this is a time where I'm going to spend more time with family. We're going to do board games. We're going to read books. And what if we take this holiday season that's upon us now, the capitalistic holiday season, and we reframe that? So instead of Halloween being Halloween, what if you look into the Celtic and Irish pagan traditions of it? It's called Samhain, It looks like it's spelled Samhain. That's how it looks to me. But it's actually called Samhain. And realize it's actually a month-long tradition. It is a month-long tradition of that wheel turning into darkness, where you begin that process of becoming cozy, of becoming internal. And there's foods that go with it. And it is about honoring our ancestors. It also is a ceremony of fire. And it's about cleansing and purifying and protecting. Like, there's so many beautiful things. Halloween was just the capitalist thing to go get you to buy candy. And like I said, super fun. I love that one. I really do. Of all the capitalistic holidays, that's my favorite. I admit it. I love candy, first of all, and dressing up, like all the things. I love it. But I also honor the ancestral tradition. So I'm still in it. I haven't left that. I'm still in ritual. I've just begun all the lightings of my candles and things like that for like extended season months. What about Christmas? You do Christmas how you're going to do it, but what if you do minimize it? You don't spend as much because you simply can't, or you don't want to. You're doing the things to, vote with your dollar. I'm proud of you. Please do that for sure. Like I said, spend it with small businesses still. Keep supporting those of us that are working hard to bring true, genuine things to you. But you're spending less overall. And instead, you talk about the next turning of the wheel, which is Yule. And Yule is actually like a 12-day celebration. And it's not just on December 25th and 26th. That's capitalistic holiday. That's a Christian repurposed holiday for its benefits. So look up Yule and what does that mean, and the different celebrations that happen for 12 days, and do the best you can. That might be too much. That might be too overwhelming. But what if instead of tiring yourself out for 2 days, you let yourself be in ceremony and ritual for these extended times, and you do that deep inner work during these fall and winter months, these dark seasons, the digging your roots in and getting nourished, stabilizing you for what's to come when the sun comes around again. And you get bright and your seed starts to germinate and come out and spread out. Or you even begin planting. I know that is considered a time of when we plant our seeds, but really if we're looking at seasonally, seeds are already in the ground. They've dropped from the trees and things like that. Not all of them, it happens all year round, but you follow me. So when we're so focused on moving away from capitalism, bravo, and social media, instant gratification, everything being quick, what if the other thing you do this season is begin to move back into ways of communing with the earth and with human beings and connection? So instead of it being Christmas parties that people probably don't even want to go to, and some do, I'm sure, some think they're fun, but what if you are gathering in community, but in ritual and in ceremony, surrounding the full moon, surrounding Yule, just gathering to share warm soup and food, to have trades of goods and services? What if it's about going back to reading books and taking you back into retraining your brain into being able to extend how much you can think? That's something I've been doing for years. I absolutely have scroll brain. I love instant gratification. Very, very, very quick information works very well for me. But studies have been done recently, and I'm looking at the time of this video and realizing I've already overdone it. Do you know studies have been done recently, and research now proves that adults, I know we all love to blame kids and their short attention spans, they can't pay attention in school. That's all true. But adults, they've proven that adults have an attention span of 17 minutes as well. 17 minutes. This video right now, I can tell you, is 18 minutes and 35 seconds. I already know so many people have clicked off. How many people are reaching that edge where they're like, oh, how much longer is she going on? I'm feeling this urge. I better wrap it up. And I probably will in just a minute because I've reached that edge. So what if this holiday season, it's not just about banning things and not spending money and fighting back that way, but what if it's about regenerating how long you can last in your brain? Read some books. Go back to reading. It's hard. I have to do it. I lose track. I have to read pages 3 or 4 times. And it kind of depends on the book. If it's a really heavy, learning book, self-help, it takes me a lot longer to stay focused. But I'm finding that there are actually some just fun, fictional books that I can actually stay really focused in because it's a good story. But even that, I lose track. We have to retrain our mind and our body's spirit to have depth again. Depth with the information we're taking in and not just sound bites. depth with the connection we're having with humans and understanding one another and growing our compassion and our empathy, depth with allowing things to take time again. I mean, gosh, years ago, there was a time when, I'm 48, right? So I'm Gen X. And even in my childhood, there was not instant gratification. The computer didn't even exist at first, at least not in homes. I didn't even have internet until I was, I don't know, like in college and high school at the earliest. And we just spent out our day. We played all day. We did the things, right? And we knew that mailing things, think about how long it used to take to get mail. Weeks, days for sure. Now it's like a day, 3 days tops. Deliveries, especially with the Amazon stuff, are a day. Like if we don't get our package in a day, we're like, this is ridiculous. This is obscene. How dare they take too long? So I want to encourage you this season of darkness in the Northern Hemisphere to lean into enriching your life by gaining a longer attention span, connection with community, allowing things to take a while to marinate, not just food-wise, but inside of yourself. If you really want change, if you really want to release outdated roles and narratives and all that, then allow yourself to take months for that to happen. Journal about it, practice meditation, slow yourself down, and allow yourself to move into this season of slowness, of restoration, of rest. I think that's what we need. I think that's what will change the world. And I can't stop thinking about that. That if we would move away from rushed and hurried and just being able to press a button and move back into connection with ourselves, our spirit, each other, and the earth and spirit, that would change everything. It's less about what we're banning. It's less about where we're not spending our dollar and canceling, and more about recreating connection. So I hope this message finds you well today, has given you something to think about, and I would love to help you on your journey. I do both virtual and in-person sessions, and you can find me at intuitiveencounters.com. Blessed be.